While there are people immigrating to Denmark, the level of immigration is relatively low when compared to the immigration statistics for countries such as Sweden and Germany.
In 2016, 15,000 people received Danish citizenship and 80,000 people were granted residence. In 2017, over 480,000 foreign nationals had citizenship and there were over 700,000 immigrants from around the world.
Whether the Danes like it or not, Denmark is becoming more multicultural. We took to the streets to see the difference between the younger and older generation's views on multiculturalism.
Here are their answers.
Yeah, I do. We have a lot of, as you probably know, a lot of opportunities for foreign people to come here and study, which makes especially Copenhagen very multicultural, as well as the immigrants. That's very much up in the time right now. Also, come to Denmark to see the good opportunities. There is a lot of good opportunities here. But I would probably say it's mostly for the bigger cities, like Copenhagen, Aarhus, Odense, Aalborg. The countryside of Jutland, Jylland, is not very multicultural, and I don't think they're very welcoming of new things, especially change and people. But Zealand, the island we're on right now, is more or less very open and is evolving into the new mindset of everything has to be multicultural.
Yes and no. I think the politicians are not very open-minded, and I'd like them to be more. But the people in general are very open, I guess, in our own special Danish way.
I would say it definitely is. I would say right now I feel like our government is trying to make it not be so much, and I really don't like their approach to it. But I think that it still is, and I'm really happy that I think Denmark is a place where everybody has a place. There's room for everybody. But I think they're trying to spoil it right now, which really upsets me. But what can you do? Apart from wait and vote on some other people at the next election or what?
Regarding younger people tend to have a mindset that's a little bit more open, I would say, because we grow up in this multicultural world where everything is multicultural. So we use a lot of time on the internet, talking with different people in different countries and origins of people, and the older people tend to stand for the non-changeable part of their lives. So everything just has to be the same, and they're comfortable in that. That's okay.
There isn't that big a difference in my life. I think all of the people I see and talk to and hang out with are generally pretty open-minded. And most of the people I know have traveled a lot and do so often, seeking a lot of different cultural things, I think, when we travel.
Definitely. Where I'm from, people are kind of conservative, and that's also where the political party called Dansk Folkeparti, the Danish People's Party, got the most votes, and that's the bit older generation that see all those new people as sort of dangerous and trying to come and spoil our culture, but they're not actually. But that's just how they look upon it. Whereas the more younger generations might see it just as opportunities and hey, welcome. So there's definitely a difference between the different generations.
Yeah, I think that the older generations of Denmark is, again, the change part is really hard for them because they grew up in a country that's very closed. We're a small society, but as we like to say, big in hearts, because especially the younger generation is open to the question of things coming in. I myself is very afraid of the Danish National Political Party thing, because they do things for themselves and not for everybody else, and there's not a lot of heart in it, because they want Denmark to stay to their core values of freedom, blah blah. Not supposed to come here because we don't have enough room, and they will destroy our values and our food and our welfare state and everything. Let them come. It's fun.
There are definitely a lot of older people not communicating so much with different areas and groups of people. But I think, yeah, in general, the older population throughout the whole of Denmark would be, I guess you could say, in some areas more concerned with people coming in than others. But yeah, I don't really meet that a lot. I mean, we're out there as well, so we can't really close ourselves, I think.
I think it's, you know, they're afraid of change perhaps because, you know, it's always been like this and it's been all right, so let's just keep it like this. And they don't really see the opportunities and the benefits that the Danish people can also get from inviting new cultures and new people into our country with new knowledge and, you know, new experience, that we can gain a whole lot from it, not just, you know, lose a bunch of stuff. So I think it's because they're scared, and maybe also misinformation. I feel like that they can be a bit, and now I like English words, manipulative about what they're saying and how they're sort of, you know, the way they're presenting the whole non-Danish people, and, you know, they talk a lot about, okay, what does it mean to be Danish, and, like, you know, their definitions are so off what, you know, what I think it's like to be Danish. I don't really know what the definition should be, because, you know, it changes constantly. And, like, what it was 50 years ago is not what it should be now to be Danish, because Denmark has changed a lot. You know, we live in a globalized world, so we cannot just keep our old sort of opinions on what, you know, it is to be Danish, because it changes constantly from day to day, in my opinion. I hope that there might be, but I think it's still difficult. You know, the municipality that I live in, Frederiksberg, we actually, what can I say, we sold, there was supposed to be some, you know, immigration centers in Frederiksberg, but they then sort of shipped it off to Valby and then paid them a lot of money so they could take them instead of, you know, so I still think there are, like, a lot of powerful people trying to not integrate them as much by, you know, constantly forcing them out in few areas, so we get those ghetto areas instead of just, you know, letting them live with the rest of us, because they're Danes just like we are, so we shouldn't, you know, divide the country or the city into different spots. We should just, you know, mix it all up.